Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between. I am Levi. This is Northwest Magic.
Howie. Oh.
That's Howie. And today, we are looking over the top 10... No, not the top 10. The worst cards of the year. One from every set of the year. We wanted to try to find something from every set. And now we've compiled it all into one list for you, because that's what we wanted to do. I thought that would be a cool thing to do. So,
and these are cards. We're not talking about just like draft chaff, like the obvious worst cards per set. We're talking about things that are getting played. Like these are putting up. Some of these are putting up significant numbers on Mox EDH Rec. Some of these have 20,000 represented decks per card. Some of them are quite lower, the newer cards, but yeah.
Yeah.
On a separate note, before we begin, I wanted to shout out our 3 patrons. We have 3 now, guys. Eduardo Soler, Richard Dilks, and King Dom. And I want to shout out our sponsor, onidiscs.com. And if you wanted to get 10% off your order, type in NWM10 at checkout. Disc golf, elevate your disc game. They have jerseys, discs, other things you might need for disc golfing. Anyway, let us begin.
Yes. Do you want to start?
I do want to start. Number, Karlov Manor. I wish I had these in order. Layline of the Guild Pact. It's 4 mana with a bunch of hybrid pips. It can be mono green if you wanted it to be. Enchantment. Layline of the Guild Pact is if it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Oh, cool. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors. That's probably never going to matter. I feel like anything that cares about colors usually cares about the spell being those colors. Like Ramos, Dragon Engine. I bet this is in a disproportionate amount of Ramos decks, and it really doesn't need to be there. It doesn't do anything. And lands you control are every basic lane type, in addition to their other types. I hate Chromatic Lantern, and this costs more than that. I think this is a mistake. It made a lot of waves in Modern, I know for sure, but here I do not like this at all.
Yeah, and from a Commander standpoint, which we're a Commander-focused channel, it's not very good. I think, it feels like a dead card in your hand for sure. Later on, if it's not in your opening hand. If it's in your opening hand, that's the only time it's good. Is when it's in your opening hand. That is it, literally. And that's a very hard chance. From the Clue set, Ravnica Clue set. I don't remember what it's called exactly.
It's Ravnica Clue Edition.
Ravnica Clue Edition. Suppressor Skyguard, 2 white and a blue. Creature, human knight, flying. Whenever a player attacks you, if that player has another opponent who isn't being attacked, prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this combat. This is decent against specific decks, maybe Voltron, stuff like that. But if you have a deck that's pretty wide, it doesn't do anything really. People can just kind of swing at other people. And a lot of the times too, the power level's getting crazier and crazier. You're getting less and less swings swung at you. Because they mean a lot more, typically. So, people are winning more often.
I feel like if you're trying to pillow fort, there's so many better options for cheaper mana-wise.
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing blue and white, you're playing Ghostly Prison, you're playing Safety Sphere of Safety, you're playing Propaganda, this is not it. I do not like it. Yeah,
Suppressor Skyguard is sort of redundant-ish, but not fully. I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's better than we think it is, but I don't really think so.
I don't think it is, and I feel like if I see it, I'm going to consider it quite subpar, and it's like $10. It's not worth it.
$10.
It's $10.
Dang.
The next set that came out this year was Fallout. And there was a lot of neat cards. I think this is a great set. I'm not a Universes Beyond guy, but it had a lot of interesting cards. I liked it. So, the worst card, in my opinion, is Radstorm. It's 3 and a blue for an instant. And it says Storm, and it says Proliferate. That's all it says. Now, on paper, that sounds kind of sick. And I'm not going to lie, it does sound kind of sick. Like, it's kind of cool.
On cardboard, cool. It sounds sick.
On cardboard. I mean, maybe like on the screen it sounds sick, but then in cardboard it reads less cool. But, tired there, huh?
Yeah. Sorry.
I think this card is a trap. Like, I'm going to parrot what I said to you when we were prepping the video. If you are like trying to pop off, I doubt you're going to have 4 extra mana to proliferate some stuff. Like, I don't think +1 counter decks often have an excess of mana. Sometimes they do with like Kami of March of the Machine Mask. You know the card. We were talking about that the other day. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, sometimes you will, but you probably won't use it on this. Like, there's cheaper ways to proliferate more things better. And if you think you can hold it up, if someone's popping off, like, let's say I play Amanatu's Augury, and I play like 5 or 6 spells off of that, and then I keep going and I pop off. I'm already popping off, I'm probably going to win. And you play Radstorm, cool, you got some counters, but you're dead. I don't think it's good. I don't think that there's any situation where this card is going to like be good. It is surely a neat card, but it is absolutely not what I really want to be seeing.
Pretty situational. You might be able to sneak it out if somebody's on like their 8th or 9th poison counter or something. You might be able to sneak a fast one over them and proliferate their poison counters real fast too. But it's all situational, and it does seem win more, especially if you're a proliferation deck, like a counters deck or a +1/+1 counters deck. Seems a little win more to me. Most of the time, the creatures themselves do it for you. Have you guys ever played Hackball? Honestly, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need Radstorm. Okay, the next one, Generous Plunderer from Big Score. It is big score, right?
Yeah.
I was like, is it big? Yeah, it has the weird sombrero looking thing. Generous Plunderer. 1 in a red. Creature, human, rogue, menace. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a treasure token. When you do, target opponent creates a tapped treasure token. Whenever Generous Plunderer attacks, it deals damage to defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control.
Slow.
Huh?
It's slow.
Oh, slow. Yeah.
Not you.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you thought I was throwing shade at you. You're reading slow.
You're slow, Levi.
This card is in 20,000 decks almost.
Yeah, it's a really popular card. Now, I know artifacts are a pretty popular archetype. But you still kind of have to be like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about making this. You know, you get a treasure token when it attacks.
I didn't realize when we were making this, but 10,000 of those decks are Obeka, the new one. That kind of makes sense. But then there's 10,000 other decks that are running this, and I don't think many of them really care about upkeeps or anything like that.
This is good in Obeka, but Obeka makes a bunch of bad cards good, so whatever, right?
It really does.
Yeah, that's kind of her shtick.
Yeah.
So
it's just slow. Like one thing per turn, and you can't guarantee there's going to be an artifact deck at the table. I know it's a semi-popular type, like, but I just don't see it that often these days. Like if you look at EDH Rec these days, we are so bloated in the format, right? I bet you if you look at EDH Rec, there's like 200,000. There's 1 million artifact decks. But there's like 3 million other decks, 4 or 5 million other decks. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Those are definitely skewed numbers, and it didn't make it sound like a compelling argument, but I promise it is. It's just not. It's just not it. How many decks are there on here? 1.2 million decks. No. Oh God. There's 2.6 million decks, and I bet you there's not nearly that many artifact decks.
Yeah, probably not that many.
Anyway, I'm going to move on to Thunder Junction, which came out the same day as Big Score. Tower Winder is awful. I do not like this card at all, guys. 1 and a green for a snake. It's a 1/1 reach death touch. When it enters, search your library and or graveyard for a card named Command Tower. Reveal it, put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle. So if Command Tower, you're already using it in the middle of that game at some point, this card does nothing. It's just a 2-mana reach death touch. Not totally useless, but it is definitely not very good at all. I do not like this card at all.
There's a lot of better stuff out there for 2 mana that I'd rather cast than him.
And I preach probably every video that I love 2 mana ramp, and I want basically every turn 2 I want to be ramping like most of the time. And this is not ramp. In no way is this ramp. This is card draw. It cantrips into a Command Tower 90% of the time, sure. But that's it. It's not that good.
Nah, you make a compelling argument. 2 mana ramp is really good and getting better as time goes on.
I mean, we're also really bloated in the 2 mana ramp. Like, whenever we get new ones, which it does happen. It happened in Modern Horizon 3 this year with Fnatic of Ronos. I love that guy. You know what else happened in Modern Horizon 3? That's an alley-oop. Pick it up.
Final act.
Yeah.
Oh, final act from
that was smooth on my part.
MH3. You know, I think when I very first saw it, I was like, whoa, it's the, mono black version of Farewell. I mean, well, pretty much everybody. Yeah, of Adios. Everybody thought that. Final act, 4 black, sorcery, choose 1 or more, destroy all creatures, planeswalkers, battles, graveyards, or each opponent loses all counters. It's definitely not the Swiss Army knife that Farewell is, that's for sure. Farewell exiles, which is just kind of better. And it just hits more relevant things.
It's everything on Farewell is relevant, right? What's that?
Artifacts, enchantments,
creatures,
graveyards,
artifacts,
creatures,
graveyard. I don't think it hits graveyards.
I don't remember either, but I'll put it on screen.
No, it does hit graveyards. No, it does, because it made me take apart my Osgear deck.
That's right. That's why we hate Farewell. It literally hits everything relevant.
Actually, the worst game of Magic I ever played is Osgear versus Adios.
Yeah, Adios.
I've never had less fun.
He says bye to you.
Yeah, it said destroy target Howie.
See, and this is
exile target Howie.
Creatures is great and all, but like planeswalkers and battles,
you'll hit one tops. You'll hit one, if that.
Yeah.
Then you will exile all the creatures. So you'll put them all in that you killed. You'll put them all in exile, but it doesn't exile the creatures from the battlefield, so it won't hit indestructible things or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then each opponent loses all counters. Like you'll hit energy and experience. I don't.
Energy and experience counters.
Infect, poison. That's probably the most common one, right? But
infect is, but you don't want your opponents to lose infect. Probably. Most likely, you wouldn't want them to.
Oh yeah, it's each opponent. I was gonna say if it was each player, then you could.
It's only opponent.
But it doesn't do that.
You can't even take the counters off yourself if you have them.
Yeah,
with
this
this
is useless.
Yeah.
And if you... How many board wipes? What is the most board wipes in one of your decks, Levi?
Two, maybe.
3? So
Three
if you're
is
playing
real
black,
pushing.
you have Damnation. You have Toxic Deluge, which is probably the best top 3 board wipes in the game.
Yeah.
In the format.
Blasphemous Edict came out recently.
Blasphemous Edict is awesome. Like, I'm sure there's more, but if you needed 4 board wipes, I don't know. I just feel like I wouldn't want this card.
Yeah, it's a little overcosted. I know that that's kind of how Magic balances it. It's a little overcosted when it hits a lot of different things. But this one just doesn't really do it for us.
I don't know what it's called, but I think there's a 4 black white to exile like as many creatures, artifacts, and enchantments as you want to. Like,
rather just run that.
Yeah, I mean that is white, and not all black decks are white, but
yeah,
I'm not a fan of that card. It's in 10,000 decks, probably mostly due to pre-con lists, and I'm surprised there's not more. Honestly, I bet more than 10,000 of those decks sold the Goyf. I think it's in the Goyf pre-con from MH3.
The Goyf pre-con. I'm
gonna move on to the bird. The second bird on the list, actually. Senu, Keen-Eyed Protector from Assassin's Creed. In a world, in a set full of assassins, full of triangles and assassins, and they put a bird that's not an assassin in there. That's reason enough for me not to like it. It's a legendary creature bird scout for 1 and a white. It has...
That one took me a second to, register.
Yeah. 2/1 Flying Vigilance. Tap. Exile him, and you gain 2 life and scry 2. Whenever a legendary creature you control attacks and isn't blocked, if Senu is exiled, put it onto the battlefield attacking. So, not the first turn you play it, but I guess probably most turns after, you're gonna gain 2 life and scry 2, and then, well, it might not even be every turn, because if that creature's blocked, you don't get this thing back.
Yeah, it very
so
specifically has to be something that is not being blocked, which a lot of the times you're playing a deck that kind of centers around that. You want stuff that does that, because other than that, it's just going to be early game, because everybody else is going to have their creatures and stuff out, by turn 3, 4.
Yeah. If this drew a card, I'd like it a lot more, but it doesn't.
Scry 2 draw? That would help. That would help this card.
That'd actually be sick. Or Scry 2, and then when it comes back, it draws a card. That'd be way better. Wizards should hire me.
Yeah.
That makes sense, too. It goes and scouts and brings you something back.
Yeah, and I don't even think that would make it
or
overpowered.
Ubisoft, they could hire me, too. Whatever. Whoever.
Because you're still doing... you're still doing, a lot of side questing here for payoff, But the payoff is still not really worth the side quest here.
Yeah. It's very low impact.
Senu, I'll see you later.
They could have made this 1 mana and wouldn't have even been busted. I still feel like it wouldn't have... Bro, I'm just trying to think, let's upgrade this, and it's still terrible. If it drew a card, it's probably meh. So, it's a little better. If it's 1 mana, meh. I'm so upset at how bad this is.
Yeah.
I'm not even invested in Assassin's Creed or anything. I'm sure there's people who are that are like, my bird.
I'm a bird.
Let's move on.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. A class. Fortune Teller's Talent from Bloomborough.
Best card of the year. I'm sorry, best set of the year.
Throwing you a curveball.
This is probably my favorite set in maybe since Neon Dynasty.
This is a great set. Yeah. And it was in universe. It was a great set.
That's a criteria for me.
Fortune Teller's Talent.
It's 1
blue.
Future.
Yeah, I know. 1 blue for an enchantment class. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. So for 1 blue, it gives you that. Okay, I can look at it. That's cool. You can't cast anything. from it. You just look at it. For 3 and a blue, you upgrade it to level 2. As long as you've cast a spell this turn, you may play cards from the top of your library. And then for 2 and a blue, spells you cast from anywhere other than your hand cost 2 less to cast. So when Howie and I were looking at this card, Howie screamed 8 mana to have things cost 2 less from anywhere other than your hand.
Or just 5 mana to cast things from the top if you already cast a spell.
Yeah, why doesn't it just give you the... Why? You're
kind of
paying 5 total mana.
Throw up.
5 total mana to still have a condition to cast something off your library, top of your library. It's silly.
Comparison, I was kind of ragging on this card too, but like this card came out in Assassin's Creed same year, almost the same month. 4 mana, Crystal, Skull, Isu, Spyglass. Look at the top card of your library. You can cast historic spells and play historic lands from the top, and it taps for blue. It's less mana, makes you mana. And it's not any spell, but like you don't have to have any pre-existing requirements. Future Sight is 5 mana. You can play the top card of your library, period. Like, you don't have to cast anything first. What's the jellyfish equipment legendary creature? The Reality Chip.
Reality Chip is great. I think it's 2 mana to cast and then 4 to equip it, I believe.
I think it's 2 and 3.
2 and 3, maybe. The artifact.
It's 2 and 3.
That's 2 and 3.
As long as it's paired, you can cast spells from the top of your library, like, and play lands. Like, they all have restrictions mostly for similar mana costs, but like, not that you have to cast a spell beforehand. And I feel like if you're in blue, these things are all blue. You're not gonna want to play this over anything else. Like, I feel like a lot of cards this year on this list wanted to be similar to other things, but they're still outclassed. And I know people complain about power creep, but like, we just didn't need to waste card slots on things like these. They're not good.
Yeah, a deck that wants this effect wouldn't choose Fortune Teller's Talent. Really. They just wouldn't.
Absolutely not.
Like, Flubs the Fool wouldn't even want this. And he's a fool!
I don't know about you. I'm saying Wang. But the most disappointing set of the year for me was Duskmourn.
Yeah.
We're not doing a year in review or anything right now, but
top 10 disappointing.
I kind of hated it, dude. Like, there was some good cards, and there's maybe a couple commanders that I might want to build in the future. I like Valgavoth.
Yeah,
but
Valgavoth's cool.
Overall, I didn't like it.
The rooms are kind of mid, and the survivors are kind of mid.
One of my favorite cards of the year was a room. I'm kind of getting off tangent here. I liked the doll house maker, porcelain doll.
Doll. That one's cool.
It's cool.
No, that
the rest
one's
of them,
cool.
I don't care. Walk-in closet's good. Anyway. Sadistic Shell Game reads way better than it is. This card's also a trap, similar to how Radstorm was a trap. It's 4 and a black for a sorcery, starting with the next opponent in turn order. Each player chooses a creature you don't control. Destroy the chosen creatures. Now, as I told you earlier, Levi, with my own mouth, your own words. So I cast this spell, and then you, Levi, are going to be the first one to pick. And you pick, let's say you pick
a Kaikar Spirit.
A Kaikar Spirit. Let's say you pick Kaikar.
Oh.
And then, but you're like, hey, dude, like, Kaikar sucks. But you're talking to the next guy, and you're like, you should pick Kaikar. And they'll go, oh, okay, I'll pick Kaikar too. And then the third player goes, yeah, I'll just pick Kaikar too. And then me, being the one who cast it, I'll be like, well, I'm not going to pick Kaikar, I'll pick something else. So Sadistic Shell Game ends up being a 5 mana destroy 2 things. It does get around hexproof Nothing is targeted, which is pretty cool. And they don't, like, you can't give something one thing indestructible in response to this or anything, because you don't have any time in between the creatures getting chosen and it being destroyed when it starts resolving. Those are two things that are really cool for this card. But if your opponents work together, which they should every time they see this, as long as they know that that's a possibility, please tell everybody how this works. Then it's not good. It's destroy two things for 5 mana, which I'm pretty sure you could do better.
More than likely, it's just going to be a trash creature that somebody else will just can like offer up, you know? Like, I'll pick this if you guys all pick it, and then there you go.
Yeah.
Nobody.
I guess your example was better with the Kaikar spirit. Like, hey man, I gotta get rid of one of your spirits, but you can just pick it too, and they all do it. Yeah, that makes more sense. My bad. I think we even discussed that before the video. My bad.
Yeah, no, I don't really have a whole lot to offer on Sadistic Shell Game. It's a good choice for being kind of like a poor card. I think it is a fun card though, and it gets the table engaged. So I wouldn't be mad to see it. I wouldn't be like angry.
No.
To see it.
I just don't think it's worth it.
But it's not worth it
except
if
for in
you're
a pre-con
trying to
environment.
Yeah, not worth it unless you're like.
I feel like they intended
fun.
it to. They should have said card that hasn't been chosen already.
That would have been.
That would have made
better.
it great. Then it would have been a 5 mana destroy 4 things, and I would even recommend the card. I would even say that's a great card at that point, but it's not how it works.
All right, Foundations, and this one may slither a few scales.
Not the first.
Not the first scales.
Snake on the list.
Not the first snake. And it won't be the last. It will be, actually. Coma.
We're almost done, guys.
World Leader. 3 green, green, blue, blue. Legendary creature, Serpent.
Snake. It is a serpent, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. It is a serpent. I also thought it was a snake. This spell can't be countered. Trample, World 4. When it deals combat damage to a player, you create 4 3/3 blue serpent creature tokens named Coma's Coil. Listen, I am no hater of the big creature. I am a big creature enjoyer. Howie can attest to that. I love myself some big boys. And I would play this.
You're the most stompy, non-stompy player I know, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I wouldn't consider you a stompy player, but you love your stompy cards.
Because they are some of the most fun cards to play. I mean, in Magic, it's what people kind of get drawn to. I think, especially newer players, they see this and be like, "Whoa!"
I would say probably more than, I don't have statistics to back this up, but I would say more than like 3/4 of new players are drawn to big, splashy, stompy, bomb creatures.
Because it just fulfills that power fantasy that you want to get, And I think Coma World Eater does that. He does. But listen. I know he's got the ward 4. I know he's got the
Coma Ward 4 Eater.
I know he's got the World 4 on there, the Ward 4. But you may even get this to proc once. There's a chance. But a lot of the times you're going to cast this and it's going to get, somebody's going to board wipe. Somebody's going to pay the Ward 4 because nobody wants that around.
Somebody's going to play Sadistic Shell Game. It doesn't target.
Sadistic Shell Game doesn't target. And just overall, it's just a lot of investment. 7 mana these days for a big creature.
A big, slow creature. It's more than it's
no haste.
I think it's a trap because, it doesn't have haste. You're probably not playing it in colors that give you haste except for Concordant Crossroads or, like, Greaves.
Yeah.
So, like, in like, higher power metas like ours is, like, not CDH, but higher power, right? We probably play 7s and 8s, even though that's a meme. Like, we play higher power stuff.
Yeah,
right?
we play 8s.
This is way too slow. Our games probably end around turn 7.
Yeah, turn
right.
7 is a good.
So
7 or 8 is like.
I even hate this as a commander, dude. So if you're playing this and your goal is, like, let's say you ramped really efficiently, right? And you get this out on turn 5. It still doesn't do anything until turn 6.
Turn 6, a lot of people's things are kind of popping off, you know? If you're against a deck that's really creature heavy, there's probably going to have enough to block it. Maybe if it's really wide or something. If you're against a really tall deck, this, you know, it doesn't quite make the cut. If you're against a control deck, they probably have something to take care of it by the time and they're gonna wait until you attack with it, you know, and attack them.
Yep.
So,
and I also heard the argument when I've talked with people about this, not just you but other people, like, it's not meant for higher power decks. It's meant for lower power decks. Now, I know lower power games go on quite a lot longer than higher power ones, but
yeah, they get going a lot slower.
If you're playing a lower power deck, you're going a lot slower. You're probably playing ramp like Cultivate and Kodama's Reach. So, like, let's say you get lucky and you play those into each other. Turn 3, Kodama's Reach. Turn 4, Cultivate. You end up with 7 mana. I think the math works out. You end up with 7 mana on turn 5. You're still playing this turn 5. It's the same as a higher power meta, right?
Yeah.
Maybe higher power you get out on turn 4. Either way, that's still not good. But turn 5, it's the same results.
Yeah, if you get an early Greaves, you know, you can at least attack with it the same turn.
Even dude, even if, like, you're playing Adrix and Nev where you really care about the tokens, like, you'd just rather play normal Coma over this. I don't even think you'd want to play both. You don't want your 7 mana slot to be too bloated. I feel like your higher slots in there would be normal Coma or Rite of Replication. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
to try to play that at 9 mana. I don't think there's any world where this card performs as well as people will want it to without a lot more setup for cards that you might not already want to be playing. I don't like this card at all. And I have nothing more to say on the subject. It is a dumb serpent snake. And also, I hate the normal art. I think it looks ugly. Ugly.
Sorry to everybody that likes this card.
I'm not sorry. I have no shame. Go ahead and tell me in the comments how much you think I'm wrong about literally any of these cards. And now I'm going to talk about the last one. The last set we got of the year. It was also Foundations, but Foundations Jumpstart is a different set. They both came out in November, the last thing we got, and it was a pretty good set. I liked it. You know what I didn't like, though, is Woodland Liege. It's 2 and a green for a creature, elf, druid, noble. It's a 2/2, and it says whenever a beast you control enters, draw a card. I bet if you looked at your entire play group, everybody you know's deck lists, you will not find a single deck with more than 5 beasts in it. Incidentally, nobody's playing Beast Tribal. That's not a thing. That doesn't exist. Not yet, anyway. Maybe this card becomes awesome in the future. For now, it really sucks. I'm pretty sure if you looked at our entire meta, there's probably maybe one deck with 5 beasts in it. Incidentally, not even on purpose. They just have 5 beasts. I'm not sure if this is true or not. I want to look, but we're in the middle of a video. So if you have 5% of your deck that's going to trigger this, even if one of them's your commander, that's not good. That's not good. It just feels like an underrepresented type, which I'm not saying underrepresented types shouldn't get this, but at least, like, I feel like you'd want an entire set. And I know there's a couple, like maybe three new beast cards that care about stuff in this set. But, like, that's not enough. I'd want, like, a whole set. Like, you know, when Ixalan came out, and we didn't have any dinosaurs, and all of a sudden we had, like, 20 or 30 dinosaurs. Like, all at once. There's
a
probably
beast
more than
plane. A beast plane would be cool. I'm tired of all these beasts on this mother effing plane.
that cared about other beasts. I think, what was the statistic you said earlier? How many cards say beast on them? It was like 100.
Yeah.
I bet you,
100%.
we didn't actually look at the list. I bet you most of those say beast in the text because their name has beast in it. They might not even be a beast.
Yeah, all I did was Scryfall text beast. That's
Yeah.
all I did. Nothing else.
Someone will probably be like, Beastmaster Ascension. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, Beastmaster Ascension. Wow, that's good.
whenever Beastmaster Ascension has,
pulled that out of your
thin air,
head.
has whatever 7 counters on it. Like, it probably says Beastmaster in the text. I'm pretty sure as it's worded. Not good.
Yeah. Woodland Leech probably will be one of the best cards ever printed in 2 years. Maybe, but
I was
not
gonna
right
say
now.
20.
20 years when Beast Tribal is the new meta. Well, you can look back at this video and tell how
Only like a universe is beyond that cares about, like, someone that cares about beasts. What would that
Beast
be?
Wars.
Like, if we did a Pokemon set, those are all beasts.
They would all be beasts. Yeah, if we had a Pokemon set. Well, okay, guys. Tell us in the
I don't like any of
comments
those things.
what your favorite beast is. Pokemon or Magic the Gathering. I don't care. Thank you. Bye.